Hi, welcome. So it is New Year's Eve and my last day in the studio until Friday. So I thought, let's do a little pre-New Year's reading to close out the year. And then I'll probably do one from my home studio tomorrow on New Year's Eve. So how are you? Thank you for being here. It's been a year. What is with us right now? Let's find out. So we'll just try to keep it brief. We have the Ace of Pentacles crossed by the World. I was just kind of reflecting on this idea because I'm just finishing A Course in Miracles. It's been a year-long journey, and I was just doing one of the reflections a bit ago. I just posted it, and about this idea of the only constant is change. Things are going to keep changing. So that's what made me think of this drawing the World card. It's like how a cycle completes and then the next one starts. You know what I was actually thinking of, because by the way, we have a fresh start and something has completed, like something's culminated in something, and now we have a fresh start. So why would the world be challenging this fresh start? And I feel like what's coming to me is something that reminds me of something I was reflecting on this morning. When you think of numerology, which I'm a novice, I really don't know anything about it. But when you total up the year 2025, it was the number 9. 2 plus 2 plus 5, right, is 9. And that means something in numerology. Just like 2026 will be the year 10. That means something in numerology. But it's not just a 10, it's 1 plus 0, because you reduce everything to its smallest number. Except there are certain rules like 11 and 22 or something. But for 10, you reduce it even more to next year is the year 1. So that's fascinating to me, because we have this year being a year 9, and then it's like 10 would be the world, like the culmination of a cycle, the ending of something. But immediately it rolls right into a 1, being the fresh start. So that made me think of this morning, and it's coming up here too, about how an ending there, because everything's constantly in flux, constantly changing, there is like no steady state. That was partly what I was reflecting on from A Course in Miracles. And it's like, wait, there is no line in the sand that says this has ended and now this has begun. And we think like midnight on January 1st is like the start of the new year, like there's that. But because time, it doesn't exist, it's like all we have is this moment, and a year is made up. It's this conceptual thing. Like, what are we even talking about? So what made me think of, like, between the 10 and the 1, the completion and the beginning is like we just roll right into the new start, the new thing, whatever we're dealing with. I think the world shows up here to say, wait a minute, there is something we should reflect on, perhaps, before we embark on this new thing. So while time keeps on slipping into the future, there's always a moment where we can kind of look back or reflect on something to gain insight for moving forward. So let's just see if that's partly what's showing up here. I'll get a few more cards. We have the Page of Swords. Yep. We have the 7 of Cups. And we have the 5 of Cups. Ooh, look at that head. It's like interesting, shiny. I don't think I noticed that before. But so what this is making me think of, like the Page of Swords being that like that insatiable like thirst for learning, Like there's this curiosity, this youthful, gotta know everything. And it's not just about knowing, it's like that, the curiosity engine for like keeping, like to continually learn. And it's like, well, that's definitely like a useful tool or a useful trait to have some when we're looking backwards, because it's not necessarily looking backwards, but like what are we learning from having completed a cycle? Now we're at the end of 2025. You could think of it like in year terms. What's this year been about? Well, a lot of us may not want to look backwards unless we're deeply curious about like, what can I take from what happened this year? Give yourselves a moment. I'm hoping to do that tomorrow because I took the day off on New Year's Eve to really just be home in my little cocoon, to not only reflect on the prior year, but start to think about what I want to carry forward, what I want to leave behind. Typical New Year's Eve stuff, but also a lot of forward looking, like, wait, what do I really want my life to look like? But I first need to look back and be like, wait a minute, what good can I leave behind? Maybe make some intentional decisions. And with the Page of Swords, there's this like this kind of feeling like I'm excited to do that work. Not like, oh God, it was a hard year, I just want to forget it. When people's like, good riddance 2025 or whatever. It's like, do we have to be that way? No. Page of Swords is like, please don't be that way. So maybe look at it through some nice goggles that says, you know what? That whole, that mentality, the whole is just like habit, isn't it? It's just like in the ether, and you just feel like, I think I'll adopt that. It's easy. No, don't be that way. So anyway, moving on to the Seven of Cups. This is a card of possibilities. Look at all the options on that platter. Actually, I've never really seen all this artwork. It's interesting. Ooh, there's a flame there. We are going into the year of the fire horse in Chinese, but that's not really till probably February or whenever the Chinese New Year actually starts. But that energy, you could hear people talk about it. It's like we're already feeling it. So the Seven of Cups being, well, what are the possibilities? What could I create in this new start? Because we have the Ace of Pentacles, that fresh start. And it's very grounded, the Pentacles. So it's like of our real world. It's not necessarily all like it's almost like what it feels like is a very practical way to look at the coming year. Does that make sense? And it doesn't have to be boring to be practical, but it's like we live in a very physical 3D body world. By the way, I'm noticing this snail here. And with that practical, it's like that slow, with the snail, it made me think of like slowing down, being very practical about like planning for the new year, not necessarily the word plan, but thinking ahead to like, what do I really want this year to be like? How can I be intentional? It doesn't have to be boring. It can actually be a lot of fun, and it can be inspiring. And so the Seven of Cups along with the Page of Swords is like, I'm very excited to like look backwards and see and do some like, what do I want to leave behind? What do I want to bring forward? And then look at all the possible, like the wide open landscape of the coming year, and kind of shed. The year of the snake was about shedding, right? If you want to think about it that way. Like stuff that we're ready to shed, like take off my old skin. And now like, what are my possibilities? I can be, I can do, I can feel, think, do anything in the coming year. I don't have to be the same old me. I don't have to have the same old negative goggles on that says, oh, good riddance 2025. I could be like, hey, 2025, you had some good moments, So anyway, it's just like break free the Seven of Cups is like possibilities. And then we have the Five of Cups, which is interesting because it's like all of these spilled cups, or the Five of Cups is usually one of like a temporary kind of emotional setback kind of card. But what jumped out to me with this is like, look at the way this person has like this, oh man, it's like kind of trippy. It reminds me of, oh, there was a movie. I'm always doing movie quotes of these things. I don't remember what it was, but it feels like clarity has come, like almost like a divine clarity. And it's like leaving behind the spilled cups, the lack, the oh bummer, moments of the past year, if you've had those, and then looking forward to like, oh look, I still have all of this full cup here, and that's giving me some clarity about what's really important to me, because the cups are like the card of emotion and compassion and empathy and all the heart-based feelings. And it's like, yeah, we had some bummer times, which makes me sometimes want to say, oh, good riddance 2025. But this is about, look, when I look forward and I actually look at what I still have, and it's being grateful for the cups that are still full in my life. What are your cups that are still full? For me, I say this, I swear I try to say it as often as possible. Like the people I have in my life, because I feel like sometimes I don't deserve that. Like, not in the like self-deprecating way or the false sense of, so like lack of self-worth way, but like, damn, if somebody out there it's based on merit, saying you deserve this relationship, you deserve these people around you, I'd be like, I haven't been that great of a person, I do not deserve that. Well, maybe I had some other good moments that made up for it, but anyway, all that aside, I think about like how much gratitude I have for like the people I have in my life. And it's not always sunny and roses like with family, but I'm so grateful. Like, I have people who are still alive when a lot of people at my age, they've lost their parents, they've lost significant people. So anyway, there's like, I'm trying to have more of that gratitude for like, this is still here with me in this lifetime. And also having gratitude for the things I did have, and that I had them for so long, instead of being like always bummed about what I don't have. So anyway, that's what's showing up as far as like, how are we going to treat this in between time that some cycle has ended, there is a fresh start, and then how do we move from that 9 to that brief moment of a 10 into a 1? So what are we doing in the 10? We are having that youthful curiosity for looking back, looking ahead, trying to excavate the most out of it, whatever that means to you. And then look ahead, like it's all possibilities from here on out. And I'm so grateful for what I have. And I feel like that is a beautiful kind of starting, like that's a beautiful 10 moment in the in-between of the 9 and the 1. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up because you know what you're going to do for New Year's and what you're going to reflect on, if at all. But this is saying try to have those attributes, those traits, like draw on those strengths of the curiosity, possibilities. Like that's a hopefulness to me, hopefulness and trust and gratitude. Curiosity, hopefulness, and gratitude. That's how I would sum up those 3 cards. So let's see. What are you curious about? If there's one, let's just ask the universe. If there's one thing to if there's one really important thing to take with us into this Ace of Pentacles fresh start for the new year, if there's one trait, one superpower, one nugget, what would it be? That's kind of fun. We have the Emperor. You know what makes me laugh about this is because I said that word practical. I said the word practical in the universe. I swear, it must be the earth energy of the horse for the coming year. Because every time I think ahead, even in my own planning, like this year was all about very spiritual stuff, it felt very spiritual, and in the way that's like my higher self, like trying to get back to my true self, my pure self, shedding all the ick that I've accumulated. And now what I've been feeling going into the new year is this like calmness, this settling into grounded earth energy. And that was before I even really thought about it being a horse, a very earthy kind of year. But it is a fire year too. Fire horse. It's not earth horse, it's fire horse. So we have fire, like ignition, along with earth, very grounded. So it's a very practically motivated year is what I've been feeling. And so with the Emperor, I mean, even down to me doing financial planning, for crying out loud, I got excited to do that. I was like all Page of Swords about like, ooh, let's actually be practical about finances in the coming year when in certain ways that I haven't been, just so that's a silly example, but like there's this fired up energy about being practical in the coming year. Isn't that weird? That's why I say it doesn't have to be boring. Like I kind of want to do a vision board tomorrow about very practical things. And I don't even know if I've ever done a vision board. But anyway, all that aside, the Emperor is making me think about how the energy has been around, at least to me, in the last month, thinking ahead to the coming year. It's like, as we wind down this year, the Emperor, if he has a superpower, it's one of like strategy. He's very like practical in that way. Like he like sees, it's almost like this. I feel this too for the coming year. The mist has cleared a little bit with all that, the spiritual like inner work and shedding all the icky stuff. But it's not all icky. It's more like spending time with myself this past year of like really shining a light in the depths and saying like heal, and who are you, who am I, and then the Emperor coming in to say, I have the big picture now, I have the full picture. And now now that I've really grounded myself, I can be very practical and strategic about what direction I want to go, because I have so many possibilities at my fingertips. I have so much clarity that's come with the gratitude. Like I'm very grateful with what I still have, what I do have. Like I'm taking inventory. I'm motivated, excited, like fired up, ignited for the practical journey ahead. Not to say that the inner work is done. There's never, again, that firm line in the sand. It's just maybe we've gotten through a chunk of it to feel like, oh, I know how this works. Like it's a practical journey, because part of my kind of winding road has been about like, is this whole journey stuff, this whole healing, this whole inner child work, this whole whatever, is it all spiritual? Is it all psychological? It's no, it's not all one way or another. And we all find our own unique route through it. At times it was highly spiritual. At times it was in the grit of like emotion work. And then at times it felt practical, like doing like sit, freaking meditate, shut your mind off. Like it was, so it had all the aspects. At different points in time I was like really felt more in one way of it than another. So it feels like, oh, I've gained through that experience of this past year an understanding of that, oh yeah, it can look like many things, it can feel like many things, and I know how to do it. I know how to meet it with the energy that it requires in that moment. Does that make sense? Do you feel that, like in your journey, whatever it is? So to me, that brings on a very practical feeling about it. Like, oh, I know how this works. I can do it. I have all the tools. And then I pull this tool out when I'm confronted with, or when I'm triggered, and I'm like, oh, I know how to deal with this. And at times I might need to go to that spiritual place. At times I might need to sit in the emotions. At times I might need to meditate, and really just practically turn off the thought machines. So it feels like a very grounded way to move through this self-transformational journey that I think you know what I'm talking about if you're here watching these things. So the Emperor, that's our one thing we're going to take with us, is like this very like, I have the tools, I have the confidence, I have the ability to move through, I have the ability to see the big picture, I have the ability to be very strategic, I have the clarity, I have the insights I've gained so far, I have the knowledge of how this thing works and how to draw on my own strengths to keep moving through it going forward. There's so many things with him that I'm so glad we drew him for going into this next chapter, whatever it is for you. It might just be the new year, since we're here at New Year's Eve. So I think I want to take a picture of this and like print it out and put it on my wall at home and be like, look at that mustache.